But let's just start it out. We made a list of 7 teams that are most likely to affect the offseason. And I think this year it starts very obviously with the Chicago Bears. Yes, the Chicago Bears, who were so unfun to watch for much of this season, are one of the most influential teams in the 2024 offseason. That is the benefit of doing a massive trade down in the draft a year before. Not only do they have roughly $67 million in a cap space, they have the 8th most effective cap space heading into this offseason, but they've also got a haul of draft capital thanks to that trade with the Carolina Panthers. Maybe you've heard they hold the Panthers' #1 overall pick in the draft. They pick 9th overall thanks to their own middling record. And even with the trade to acquire Montez Sweat during the season, they still have the number 75 overall pick. So on top of money to burn, so much draft capital that they can use to better this team. That in itself makes it interesting because they're going to be a markedly improved team no matter what they do. But that is what makes it so interesting is the Bears have the biggest choice in the NFL, I think, this offseason when you talk about owning the #1 draft pick in a year with several quality quarterback prospects and also having a very up and down but very talented quarterback in Justin Fields. A hell of a choice in front of them. Fields just finished his 3rd year. Bears have until May to pick up the 5th-year option on his contract. And if they want to, they could build around him. They kept Matt Eberflus as their head coach. Ryan Poles has been here for a few years at this point. Do you build around him? Do you trade out of the #1 overall pick in the draft and try to get another haul? As good as having 1 and 9 looks, would you rather get more picks for the future, more picks in the 1st or 2nd round, get your 2nd round draft pick back, and think of what you could do? I can hear so many Bears fans saying that. Think about what we could do with all those picks. We already got DJ Moore, and Justin Fields has Cole Kmet. And we've got Montez Sweat on the defense with all these picks. Think of the team that we could have. Or, obviously, do the Bears draft a quarterback at #1 overall? Do they take Caleb Williams, who he's talented because NFL fans have known who he is for 2 years at this point. One of those prospects like Trevor Lawrence, who he's on everybody's radar multiple years before he comes out. It's a defining choice because it's going to shape the rest of the draft. If the Bears draft a quarterback, how does that change all of the dominoes everywhere else? Obviously, it'll keep teams from trading up into the #1 spot. It'll also take the best quarterback off the board and put him in Chicago where the Bears could build around him. I mean, imagine a quarterback #1 overall to the Bears, Chicago fans, and then you draft a top-tier receiver at 9 overall. Or an offensive lineman who could help keep him clean, which was a problem for Justin Fields. And for that matter, what does it mean for Fields? Where does Justin Fields go if he's not the quarterback in Chicago? Because despite some people claiming this is possible, I just don't see the logic in maintaining that drama of having the last first-round draft pick at quarterback hanging out behind your new guy. I don't see the logic. Where would Fields wind up? Surely the Bears would try to trade him. Surely they would try to do it before the NFL draft so that they can use that capital. Maybe you add a 2nd or a 3rd round pick to your draft capital heading into that weekend. I saw as recently as today, as I'm recording this, God bless the gains that gambling has made in football over the last few years, because you can bet on where Justin Fields might wind up. And apparently the betting favorite right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I certainly see the appeal there with Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, what he might be able to do with an athletically gifted quarterback like Justin Fields. That's a lot of fun. Atlanta, Denver, Minnesota all jump out to me as teams that might be interested in a Justin Fields. So where does he go? How does that change the trajectory of a different franchise? And then obviously it would all be about the quarterback drafted #1 overall. I would assume it would be Caleb Williams, but maybe they fall in love with somebody else. I mean, it was Mitch Trubisky going above Patrick Mahomes that got everybody into this situation in the first place. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And between the ability to add talent in free agency and then this choice at the top of the draft, I think it makes the Bears, if not the most interesting team in the league for 2024, definitely on the short list. I think we're going to get an answer sooner rather than later. Like I said, I would imagine Fields gets dealt before the draft if that is indeed what the Bears are going to do. I think it is, but watching how it all plays out is going to be so much fun. That's what makes the Bears top of the list for most interesting teams heading into 2024.